Let's talk about co-location. A big thing in the Scrum guide was co-location, and obviously 2020 kind of shot a missile at one of the main things of Agile, one of the main principles of Agile.
My thoughts on co-location is before COVID, in class, I think the main thing I tried to get across to students was like, if your team can't do face-to-face at all, and I don't just mean in person, I mean even on video. Yeah. I used to always say, look, you can always, one of the questions would be like, how can you do face-to-face if your team is not co-located? And they'd be like, people, we actually think about this. Well, I guess you could do video conferencing. Now it's the norm, but it's really about, if your team can't do face-to-face, then it shouldn't be a team.
Yeah.
The Agile principle says, face-to-face communication to and within the team. And so to me, that says, if you have people in California, and you have people over in India, and their time zones are so far apart that they can't ever do face-to-face, they shouldn't be on a team together. You could have your Indian team, they could be face-to-face. You could have your California team, and then the product owner is the only one that's got to get up at 6 a.m. to talk to that team and then talk to this team, right? And so I think it's more about a team that's remote now. To me, it's like, don't be more than one time zone apart from the source of, say, from a single source, whatever that source is, the company, the team, the lead, whoever it is, but don't be more than a time zone apart so that everyone can do that face-to-face. But if you're 6, 7, 8 hours apart and you can't do face-to-face because, it's just not good, then they shouldn't be a team together. I'm always against that completely.
I was on a project a couple of years ago, I think, where my product owner was West Coast, all my testers were out of India, and my developers were here East Coast.
That's so strange. To me, that's just like, that's not.
There was no good time for it. I only had 3 hours in the morning of overlap where everyone could be available.
That's horrible.
And that's only because my Indian team members worked swing shift. They worked until 10 o'clock at night or something like that. I can't remember. And that was it. So we had maybe half a day at the.
So then you go back to Agile principles. The best communication is face-to-face to and within the team. Could they all do face-to-face to and within the team? So the answer is no. Right? It sounds like no in that scenario. And then you struggle, you have problems, you have communication issues, you have delays, and then it's like, Scrum doesn't work. You're not really doing Scrum, right? You're not adhering to the Agile principles. You're not really doing Scrum properly. Yeah, and I think that's what I find frustrating. Yeah. When people come to class and they're like, well, I'm really trying to figure out how Scrum could work for us, and we have a team, and and I'm just like, you're doing it wrong. I don't know what to tell you. Then stop doing that.
Well, I mean, they figure that's the reality of their organization, and there's nothing they can do to change it.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, right? It's like Scrum you have to change. The organization has to change in order to implement Scrum properly. Mm-hmm.